Now, it is no secret that Meek Mill's music career took a huge hit ever since the whole situation with Drake happened back in 2015. After endless memes and getting dragged through the mud by the hip-hop community, I want to talk about this. Is Meek Mill's career over? Or can Meek Mill make a comeback to the pinnacle of his career, which was the summer of 2015 when he dropped Dreams Worth More Than Money? Now, Meek is currently at a stage in his career where people feel like he needs to prove himself. Will his Wins and Losses album that is dropping in a couple of days have that mainstream success like his last album did? I mean, these are questions that people are asking, and the mentality Meek has right now in this stage is he wants to win. And it's not because he wants to prove himself to the people who talk bad about him after his situation with Drake, but it is to show himself that he has the confidence to recover from the stagnation his career faced throughout these past 2 years. I mean, Meek Mill really went from being one of the hottest rappers in the game to being one of the most memed rappers in the game, and that's a big turn. Now, will he ever go back to the pinnacle of his career? Honestly speaking, if this new album doesn't do as well as his last one commercially and the impact that it has on his career as a whole, I don't think that Meek Mill will ever get back to exactly that point. See, one of the biggest mistakes Meek made was to rest while his enemy was working. Now, of course, I know that he dropped a lot of music in between his last album, but if we're gonna be honest, it's always the album that counts, not the mixtapes or the EPs. Because essentially, the albums are always the thing that's gonna take you to the next level and prove to people, does Meek still have the juice? Because everything that's not an album is extremely easy to downplay, as we all know. But I digress. But getting back to how Meek was resting while his enemies were working, while someone like Drake was putting up these big numbers with views and having #1 hit singles, all that was affecting Meek because people were looking at him wondering, how are you just gonna let your enemy get all the attention and success while you're not making any major moves? But do I think that Meek's career is over? And when I'm saying over, what do I mean exactly? Well, first of all, fans is something that Meek Mill will always have. I mean, the guy came from nothing in a place where there wasn't a lot of positive things going on, so people from his city and area will always support him. But if we're talking about the commercial success he had in 2015, I don't think so. And I'm only saying that because Meek's career took a huge loss. And it's not just about that he beefed with one of the biggest artists of this generation, aka Drake. It's that his reputation of being that guy is completely ruined. And of course, he did tarnish Drake's entire legacy, which I will make a whole separate video for, but he himself didn't make it out exactly clean. But I don't think that we should measure Meek's career with the numbers and compare it to someone like Drake, because ultimately that's what people are going to do. We all know how much Drake fans want Meek Mill to fail and vice versa. I mean, when people have the opportunity to compare the success of either artist, they are going to do it. I think that a lot is going to come down to how Meek handles the success or failure of this next project. And of course, how he discusses the situation with Drake is really key here. Now, if Meek accepts it for what it really was and doesn't focus too much on his dark past, or at least if he's going to talk about it, show the world that he has moved on from it, it's a success. But I think to say that Meek Mill's career is over would be a straight up lie, because there's still so much to Meek as an artist and character, and a lot of people, including me, really appreciate what he has done before musically speaking. And I really look at Meek like a monster, because no matter how many times he gets hit, he's not gonna stop and cave. Instead, he's gonna give the people what they really want, which is the music everyone has been waiting for. And I think we should look at the route Meek wants to take himself with this album and judge how he's doing accordingly. And I'm only saying that because a lot of people are gonna be holding Meek to this high standard because of the situation with Drake, and they're gonna compare his sales to Drake and how he's doing overall in his career. But overall, is Meek Mill's career over? Not at all. But do I think that he will reach the peak he had in 2015? Definitely not. But just because Meek doesn't reach that peak doesn't necessarily mean that everything else that happens is a failure. But I'm really excited to see what Meek does on this album that's coming soon, and hopefully the album is a success. But I really want to know what you think about this. Do you think that Meek Mill's career is over? Do you think that he can make a comeback? Or do you think that Meek Mill is completely dead? But as always, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This channel is all about bringing together people like you who enjoy music and start a discussion on different topics like this. And of course, like the video if you enjoyed it, follow me on Twitter at BlackySpeakz, and I'm out.